think the main thing and where we should really kick this off and start talking is the news that broke today that surrounds one former Steelers, former Bronco, former Seahawk quarterback, Russell Wilson. And the fact that he's coming to visit the Cleveland Browns tomorrow, he is taking a visit with a division rival because basically Aaron Rodgers is holding the Steelers franchise hostage. I want to know what you guys have to say because I feel like I'm going to be in the minority here. I do want to note real quick, too, that Russ is meeting with the Giants on Friday. So I'm not expecting a deal to be signed unless we blow his socks off tomorrow. And I don't think that's going to happen because why would it?
Yeah. There's an element of this that reeks of let's get excited about people who were relevant 4, 5, 6 years ago. There are big names that are going to move. If you play a starting quarterback position in the NFL, you have one of 32 jobs. They're highly coveted and very important. That said, I don't know. Russ Wilson, he'd probably be better. I mean, he'd be better than what we had last year, but it wouldn't excite me if he were coming here. At least as a heir apparent for the starting position. If he's coming to compete, could be a backup along with Kenny Pickett, and we're still going to go after somebody else, then I actually pretty much love it because I think he'd be a good quality backup who you can rely on when the quarterback goes down. But if you're saying, hey, the Browns are going to break camp, he's our guy, I don't know. I think he's past his prime over the hill, and I don't think he means a ton. That said, the whole Aaron Rodgers nonsense in Pittsburgh is something we don't see out of that franchise very often. The Steelers usually, if 31 teams are losing their head, the Pittsburgh Steelers are like that lamppost in the hurricane where everything's blowing all over the place and they're just solid. To see them allow the prospect of picking up a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers do this to their franchise is somewhat surprising.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most exciting part about Russ going both to us and the Giants is that the possibility that the Steelers couldn't re-sign him. They let Justin Fields walk, and now they're going to let Russ walk. And as you said, it's all because Aaron Rodgers is holding their feet to the fire where he could sign somewhere else, and I hope he does. It's lovely to see a franchise that has, like John has said, been that stalwart. It's lovely to see them collapse a little bit. And I'm going to call it now that I think it's mistaken, but I think we're a year or two removed where Mike Tomlin will no longer be head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That said, focusing on the Browns, Noah, don't smile. I said that it would be a mistake, not that it would be the right move.
There's a point in time where two parties grow apart, and I've been calling it for about, a year and a half? How long have I known you guys? 2 years, damn near? But anyway, We don't need to get back into that one. Go watch that video if you haven't already. That is a fun one back in the time machine.
OG at the office. No, here's how I feel about Russ Wilson. I think you're absolutely right, John. I think he's a little past his prime. Is he more exciting than Deshaun Watson? Abso-freaking-lutely. So to have him under center, we know we can get a little life out of him still. The thing that made Russ, though, is that he was able to escape the pocket and make amazing throws on the move. And as you age, that just gets harder and harder. I'm not sure he can quite do that anymore. And that's really what set him apart in the NFL, and it's what won him his Super Bowl ring out in Seattle. Will I be happy breaking camp with him, as you said? Happier than I was probably knowing how it went last year, sure. But you say maybe our guy's still out there. Who is that? I can only think of one name, and at least so far, the Falcons aren't moving on him.
Well, there's three names because Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders are names.
That's fair.
So that's a good transition for the thought experiment I'd like to play with you guys. I have a graphic. I want you to tell me who you think the two quarterbacks are.
You know what? One last point on that before you move in case we don't come back.
We're talking about the same topic. So you're totally fine. Let's go unless
go for it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have two quarterbacks listed here, one on the left, one on the right. Who do you think each of these quarterbacks are?
I think the left is Aaron Rodgers. The two things that stick out to me, I think his percentage was around that, and also he took a shit ton of sacks, which that graphic indicates. The right, 66%, 3,500 yards. Probably Russ.
Okay. John, what are your guesses?
I was going to say like Kenny Pickett. I don't know.
Okay.
This is Kenny Pickett maybe on the Aaron Rodgers. I would like to say on the left, although that looks really bad. But I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers on the left. I'll say Kenny Pickett on the right. That's probably wrong, but I don't know.
Well, he didn't play much last year, so
That's true. I
So,
guess I'm
unless
thinking
you're
of,
pulling old stats.
that's what I was going to say. I'm
drum
going
roll,
back 2 years already.
drum roll, please. Jeffrey Champion in the comments got it correct. Nope, the right is Kirk Cousins, the left is Russell Wilson. So when you
Okay.
look at the Bear statistics, Russell Wilson is a better fit, a better player at this point in time than
Hold
Kirk
up,
Cousins.
pause, Noah. Because
Yeah.
you got to give Jeffrey more props than you just gave him. He called that shit down to a T. We're doing a sports show over here, and we were both wrong, and he nailed it. So good job, Jeffrey.
Shout out Jeffrey. Shout out Jeffrey. But to me, I know Russ has some negative press in terms of him being a lousy teammate, in terms of him being a Pittsburgh Steeler and what that means to us as Browns fans. But if you're looking at it from the outside looking in, and you're going just off of statistics and just off of performance last year, one quarterback played the whole season and made the playoffs. The other one was benched for a rookie.
But to be fair,
and
hold on.
played
That's
horrible.
not.
Go ahead.
That's not really the tale of the tape because Kirk Cousins put up some insane numbers through like 6 games, and then according to him, he got hurt. He trailed off. Also, that tells me that his offensive line was shit as well. So
Yeah.
yes, that those stats matter, but
If you want to talk offensive line, Russell Wilson sacked 33 times in I guess it was less games, and Kirk Cousins was sacked less in more games. Kirk played 14, Russell Wilson played 11. So who had the better offensive line?
well, yeah, his sucked too. But if you put that back up there, you're
Yeah, I got
saying
you. Hold
because
on.
Kirk had more games. Kirk's on the right, you said, right?
Kirk is on the right, Russell Wilson is on the left.
I mean, he has a better completion percentage. He has better yards per attempt. I think the fall off was due to injury. If you look again, you got to look at
You're
his,
talking
first 6 games.
0.3 yards per attempt and 3% of a completion percentage.
No. I know. I'm not saying he's like astronomically better, but you're throwing that up to say that Russ is better. And I don't think that's a clear indication just based on those stats.
I don't think they're astronomically better than each other. I just think Russ is the better option out of the two. And anybody who's upset about Russell Wilson potentially being the Browns' bridge quarterback or backup to whoever the rookie is that they draft if they go that route, I think it's a perfect fit, especially if it's a guy like Shedeur Sanders, an older vet who's won a Super Bowl. He jives well with kind of that ego type, which we know Russell Wilson has. I think it would be a match made in heaven.